Hi, welcome back. We're on section 1.7 now, here in Introductory Algebra. We're going to look at dividing with positive and negative numbers. Now, the really good news here is if you can multiply positive and negative numbers, you can do division because they have the same rules that we had for multiplication. So for any two numbers, if you're dividing them, if they have the same sign, you get a positive, and if you have a different sign, then you get a negative. So I have three examples here that you can see. We have negative 20 divided by 5. Again, one is negative, one is positive, gives us negative 4. Negative 80 divided by negative 10, by the way, that's really what a fraction is. It's a division problem, gives us a positive 8. And negative 30 divided by negative 6 gives us a positive 5. So here we see those exact same rules that we had for multiplication. And again, I'm going to kind of just remind you, I know you're going to use your calculator, and that's really perfectly fine and happy with me. Okay, I think that's great. Use your calculator. But we want to be careful using our calculators because sometimes we miss a button, we get a wrong answer, and if you're not paying attention, you don't know it. But for instance, if you typed in this one right here, negative 80 divided by negative 10, if you got an answer of negative 8, it should send a warning sign to you. You're like, wait a second, I had a negative divided, it should be a positive. So it's just something we really want to be careful using our calculators. We want to pay attention, and so that's the biggest reason why I'm giving you these rules, is so that we have this in our heads as we're trying to work with our tools. So we'll look at a little bit more here with division, and then we'll move on. All right, so this one's actually going to be a really pretty quick video. This is my last board for it. So I have a couple more things I want to point out here with dividing with positive and negative numbers. First of all, fractions. Fractions, they work the same way that they did before. We're going to change our division into multiplication and flip that second fraction upside down. Now, one thing to watch out for, be a little bit careful when you do this multiplication. It's not 2 times negative 8 and 3 times negative 7, which would give us a negative on the top and the bottom, which would make a positive. We don't want that. It's a positive number, 2/3, times a negative number, 8/7. So when we multiply, we should get a negative outcome. Okay? So just be careful, you're not using this negative twice. There's one negative for that whole fraction. So the other thing I want to really kind of mention here is 0. 0 is kind of weird, and it's going to do some definitely different things for us. But here's what we have. I have two problems here, 0 divided by 4 and 4 divided by 0. And if you have your calculator, go ahead and type them both into your calculator and see what you get. I'm going to keep talking, pause it. Anyway, but here's the thing. 0 divided by 4, what that means is that I am taking absolutely nothing. Here's my nothing, my hand's nothing. And I'm cutting it into 4 parts. And what do I still have? I have absolutely nothing. So 0 divided by any number, or in this case, 0 divided by 4, will always be 0. But if we turn it around, that's not going to be the case. So if you type that one into your calculator, you should get some sort of error message, and that's exactly what you should get. But I just thought I'd explain a little bit why you're not allowed to divide by 0. Well, division, one way to think of it is that you're cutting some number of in this case, 4 somethings up into pieces, right? You think of taking a whole pizza, cutting it into 2 pieces, right? That's 1 whole divided by 2. Well, 4 divided by 0 is essentially saying this. Here is a piece of paper. Here's my something. It's not 4 somethings. Okay, so it's not a perfect example with what I have, but anyway, here's my something. Try and divide it into 0 pieces, because that's what this problem is asking us to do. It's asking us to take 4 somethings and divide it into 0 pieces. You can't do it. You could rip the piece of paper in half. You could take out a pair of scissors or give them to your kid who has a pair of scissors and let them cut it up like crazy and have lots of pieces and a huge mess. I've had people suggest burning the piece of paper, but that doesn't cut it into 0 pieces either. It just releases millions of pieces into the atmosphere. So it's impossible to take your something and cut it into 0 pieces. And so that's why division by 0 is not allowed. Okay, so you can't divide by 0. Anytime you see it, it is what we call undefined. Because quite frankly, there is no definition for what it actually means to divide by 0. It's a nonsensical kind of statement. And so you can't divide by 0. And there we go. That's division. Have fun. Thanks.